Hey, Macarena, welcome back to another episode of An Idiot's Guide to Filmmaking. Not a guide for idiots, but by an idiot. Today I want to talk about 3 audio tips on set to make your video more professional. The first one is going to deal with how your audio setup looks. The second one is going to deal with how your audio setup sounds. And the third one is to do with how you think about and perceive your audio setups. We're getting like crazy meta here. Let's get into it without any further ado. Let's kick it off with tip number 1. Let's kick it off with tip number 1 and talk about your lapel mic. Now, so many videos, I see this. Get it out of there. No one wants to see your lapel mic cable in your shot. It's not what people are here for. They're here to see your lovely face, your visage. Not a wire, not wires everywhere. If they wanted to see that, they would go to an electrical plant. And you are not an electrical plant. I see this in everything from like startup YouTube videos to low level like commercial work. People will do paid gigs and they will just slap on a lapel mic and let the cable run through the shot. Now, if they're wearing a jacket, it's super easy. You can just kind of coil the cable over, clip it on like so, and stuff that puppy in your pocket. And voila. No cables anywhere. This is nice and clean. You know, if you see that somewhere, it's fine, no problem. If they're wearing a shirt, especially like a button-down shirt, that also works pretty well. You just clip it on there. You ask them politely, hey, would you mind just running this down your shirt? It's kind of an awkward question, but you get used to it. Now, some people will be wearing a shirt that is not conducive to something being clipped on it for whatever reason. There's a couple of other options. The one is just bringing it over the shoulder and clipping it right onto the collar there. This is not an ideal setup in terms of sound, you know, projecting. Their projecting sound is being picked up by the mic. It's not ideal, but it works. And this is especially good for like women or people with long hair, and they can just cover it over and that mic is totally invisible. I think the best way to do this is to use stickies. Rycote stickies, you can find them online. They're just these little sticky pads. You stick one to one side, one to the other, and then you tape that either under their shirt, or if they're wearing like a button-down shirt, there's 2 layers. You can just stick that in there, or there's so many places to stick a microphone. It's kind of weird. But the point is, just make it as discreet as possible, and you're good to go. Point number 2. What is that? Okay, folks, monitor your audio. Check that it's okay. Especially at least do an audio check before the shoot where you physically put on headphones, you plug them into the camera or the audio receiver, and you say, hey, could you just say a few words into the mic? Hey, tell me what you had for breakfast. Hey, how you doing today? Whatever it is, get them to say a few words, get them to talk, figure out the audio levels, and make sure that it sounds okay. The other day I was filming some B-roll and they were like, oh, while you're here, let's get a little interview. And I was like, I don't really bring the equipment for an interview, but okay. And I gave the guy a lapel mic and I plugged it into the camera and I did not have my headphones. And I was like, you know what? It's going to be fine. I do this all the time. I'm just going to set the level so that it's not peaking. It's going to be fine. It wasn't fine. The audio from the microphone was being distorted before it even came into the camera. So it didn't matter that I wasn't redlining. The audio was distorted to heck anyways. And it took me like hours of editing in post to try and salvage some of that. And even then it wasn't like to the level of professionality that it should have been. So that wasn't great. It wasn't a nice scenario. The moral of the story is just carry headphones or earphones on you at all times and plug them in and listen to your audio. Hey, it's you. Hey, you. Hey, come closer. Closer. How's it going? Point number 3. Point number 3 is kind of a conceptual one, and it's a little weird, so bear with me. I used to think of audio as like this mysterious thing, and I'd be interviewing someone and I'd be like, what if it doesn't sound good? What if their voice and that truck in the distance are the same level? And I was like, it's this mysterious thing. And the problem is that we as humans listen to audio very subjectively. And what I mean by that is that we're constantly processing it, right? You can be talking to someone on the street and there's an airplane flying overhead and there's a car driving by and there's an air conditioner unit and all these things that make way more noise than you think they do. And we can just block those out mentally, and we can just focus on the person. And we think to ourselves, well, if I had a microphone right where I was, that should be able to pick up this person just as well as I can, right? Wrong. That is wrong. That is incorrect. How could you even... The problem is that microphones pick up sound objectively. Now, they are directional, but whatever's in that direction, they're going to pick it up, right? They're like a baby. A baby just picks up anything and puts it in its mouth and tries to eat it. And you're like, don't eat that, you're going to die. Point is, it has helped me immensely to A, think about sound more objectively and try to just think about like levels and be like, what is this person's level in comparison to that car? And trying to open up my oral perception and listen to everything that's going on around me and be like, okay, where are the levels at right now? And the second thing, and this is the weird part, is trying to visualize yourself in the place of the microphone. So the other day I was doing an interview outside and there was, people talking over there and there was a car driving by and stuff. And I was like, shoot, what if all these things are going to be competing with his voice? And then I realized that my microphone was about 2 feet from him. Because of COVID, I was like 6 to 10 feet away. So it's kind of hard to tell. But then I was like, if I was where that microphone is, 2 feet from his face, I would be hearing him crystal clear. And it would be loud enough to drown out those other sounds around me. Same thing with like lapel mics. Sometimes I'm like, is that mic close enough? Is there too much background audio? And then I'm like, well, if I was there, like leaning against that person's chest or like with my head on their shoulder, would I be able to hear them okay? And usually if you're within like, 2 feet of the person, yes, you'd be able to hear them great. But sometimes you're like, no, if I was that close to that person, that other sound would still be competing with it. If your microphone's maybe pointing up at someone and then there's a ventilator behind them or above them, you'd be like, oh shoot, if I was sitting there listening in that direction, I would be hearing that ventilator almost as loudly as I'd be hearing them. And then you can be like, okay, well, I should switch the microphone to here. And it's just been weirdly helpful for me to just picture myself exactly where that microphone is, listening to what's going on around it. So I don't know if that's helpful to you, but it's been really helpful to me. Thank you so much for watching. If this video has been helpful, you know what to do. If it has not, get out of here. I'm just kidding. Stick around, see if it gets any better. If not, get out of here. Anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I know it is valuable and it is a commodity, so please go spend some time with your family and your loved ones. Go call your mom. Tell her you love her. I love my mom. Thanks for watching, Mom. And Dad, you guys are the best. I love that you watch my videos. You are one of the, 5 people.